And welcome back to the Todd Stern Show. Senator Chris Murphy, the Democrat from Connecticut, now under fire for appearing to cheer on America's enemy during the middle of a war. Well, it was reported that 26 ships in Iran's Shadow Fleet had been able to run the U.S. blockade in the Strait of Hormuz. Now, in response to that news, the senator tweeted one word: awesome. The White House said it was an insane level of Trump derangement syndrome, said the senator is an America Last radical left lunatic. Now, the Trump War Room X account shared this statement. This is what late-stage TDS looks like, cheering on Iran to defeat the U.S. Navy. Now, first of all, there's absolutely no evidence that Iran has a shadow fleet or that they were able to evade the U.S. Navy, and to suggest otherwise is just simply outrageous. Now, the congressman's office defended the message and said it was nothing more than sarcasm. But I disagree. It appears that Senator Murphy is at the very least an imbecile, or at the very worst, he's a traitor to his country. And it's time to start calling out these treasonous Democrats for who and what they really are. Treason is a crime in the United States of America. It's defined in part as giving comfort to the enemy, and that's exactly what Murphy's comments did, whether or not he meant it or not. At the very least, the senator should be censured by the U.S. Senate. It's time to stop coddling these anti-American politicians. Well, joining me now, Congressman John James from Michigan, who is also running for governor. Congressman, good to see you. I'm curious to hear your take on what the senator said there.
It's time to stop coddling communists. We see what they've become, peak TDS. And President Trump called this out during the State of the Union address just a few weeks ago. He said, look, you see how crazy they are, and they are putting that on display for the American people each and every single day. When you literally have a member of Congress, you literally have senators who refuse to call out extremism and then continue to root for our enemies against America, against our economy, against our armed forces. I don't know why the heck you're here if you hate America so much. We love America, we'll protect America, and we stand with a president who keeps his word to America.
You know, it seems that there are a lot of unpatriotic Democrats, not just in Congress, but also Michigan as well. Abdul El-Sayed is running for the Senate, and he says, regarding Israel, for example, that they are just as evil as Hamas. This guy's actually gaining momentum, and his views, well, they don't seem to be hurting him on the campaign trail. Let's take a listen here.
McMorrow, who's kind of the Goldilocks in here in terms of the pro or anti-Israel candidate. Stevens mostly being seen as the most pro-Israel candidate. She's down there at 20% a month ago. McMorrow was at 61%. Look what's happened over the last month. McMorrow has fallen to 49%. Abdul El-Sayed, look at this, from 23%, who's seen as the most anti-Israel candidate, up to 39%. Now, this is a legitimate race here, folks. This is a legitimate race.
What do you make of those numbers? What do you make of those numbers?
Just a few weeks after a radical crashed into temporal Israel, threatening the lives of students, young children, I think it's unconscionable that we continue to abet these lies and this hateful extremism. We have to call out this hate in every single time and opportunity that we have. And frankly, every single time that someone is murdered, someone is hurt, Democrats raise the cry to turn down the rhetoric when it's them who are calling for the deaths of our friends like Rick Scott, in the public. It's them who are calling for standing and getting their face and fight them out in public. It's them who are raising the temperature when we are just trying to make sure that we can have peace through strength, and we can make sure that people can exercise their right without threat of political violence. We need to call out people who are abetting this political violence, but Democrats are showing us their true colors. Just a few days ago, they continued to nominate radicals for the offices that they're running for. And so the only thing that we can do is we beat them at the ballot box, which is exactly why I'm running for governor, to make sure that we can trust our elections again. That's why I voted for the Save America Act, to make sure that we have IDs in our election again. And that's exactly why we're going to make sure that there are no sanctuary cities in places like Michigan, so we can make sure that we keep Michigan safe and we keep our country safe, particularly when Joe Biden left our borders open. We don't know who the heck is here, and we're a country who's currently in conflict right now.
Congressman, I want to bring up this polling data. You're running for governor, and I want to make sure we get this in there, guys. The recent poll has you leading the GOP primary field. I'm curious what you believe is the big issue facing Michigan voters.
The biggest issue facing Michigan voters is hopelessness. Right now, under Gretchen Whitmer's regime over the past 7 years, she's taken our rights. She's taken our faith in our elections. She's taken our ability to raise our families in peace. We're going to be focusing on lowering our taxes. I have a plan to cut our income taxes. We're going to be making sure that we have an environment that is pro-business. We're going to make sure that we deregulate. We're going to make sure we bring back local control to people. And we're going to make sure that we hold crooks accountable who've been stealing from the people of the state of Michigan. That message is resonating. I've been up by double digits for the past year on the next closest Republican candidate, and I'm the only one in terms of public polling that beats both Democrats. All the things that we talk about doing to save our republic don't make a lick of difference if you don't have a candidate who can win the election. This is super important because what you're talking about was going on in Virginia today. When you have people like Abigail Spanberger who campaign as moderates, they are Marxists to the core, and Michigan is the center of the electoral universe coming up in 2026 to make sure that we can save our republic and maintain control of Congress so we continue to move the Trump agenda forward.
All right, Congressman, we have to leave it there. We appreciate you joining us this evening. Thank you. And coming up, gas